in question 7, we have a sequences and series question. So part of the seating arrangement in a theatre is shown in the diagram below. The seats are arranged in rows. Row 1 is nearest the stage and it has 28 seats. Each subsequent row behind that contains one more seat. So row 2 has 29 seats, row 3 has 30 seats, and so on. Part A then, we need to find the number of seats in row 10. So I'm just going to make out a table here. So the rows, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and then the seats will be next. So we're told row 1 is nearest the stage and that has 28 seats. So that will be 28. And then each subsequent row behind that has one more seat. So going on from there, so you'll have 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, and then 37. So that means in row number 10 we have 37 seats. Then in part B, we're told there's 50 seats in the last row. Then how many rows of seats are there in the theatre? Okay, so for this, I'm going to write out a formula for the nth term, or the general term of the sequence. So we can see here, it's going up in 1 every time. So straight away, that's just going to be 1n. Then to get from our difference to the first term, so our difference is 1 to the first term, which is 28, that is plus 27. So that means our general term is going to, or Tn equals 27 plus n. Now, we're told that there's 50 seats in the last row. So for this now, let's do 27 plus n equal to 50. So let's bring the 27 to the other side. It'll be minus 27. So that means n is equal to 23. So that means there's 23 rows of seats in the theatre. Okay, for C then, we need to find the total number of seats in the theatre. So for the total number of seats then, we're going to use the sum of formula. And the sum of formula, again, this is in your logbooks. So that's going to be n over 2, 2a plus n minus 1 times the difference. So a, remember, is the first term. Now in the previous question, we found out that there's 23 rows of seats. So that will be our n. So it'll be the sum of 23 equals 23 over 2. 2, so a being our first term, that is 28, because there's 28 seats in the first row, plus then 23 minus 1 times the difference, and that's just going to be 1. So then we'll have 23 over 2. So 2 times 28, that's going to be 56. Then plus 22. So then 23 over 2 times 78, and put this into your calculator, and that's going to be 897. And these are the seats, so the total amount of seats. In part D then, we're told on a particular night, 600 people are at a show in the theatre. So assume that the people are seated only in the rows closest to the stage, i.e. they've filled the first n rows and there are some people seated in the next row. Find the value of n and then the number of people seated in the next row. So if you imagine this, so you have the first row filled, so there's 28 in the first row, so you have 28, then plus 29, then plus 30, and then this is going to go on and on and on, and it's going to add up then to 600. But then there'll be certain row then, which is only a few people in. Okay, so we know the sum adds up to 600. So I'm going to use the sum of formula again in this one. So I'm just going to write it out, 2a plus n minus 1 times d. and this is going to equal 600, but I don't know what n is. So I'm going to have n over 2, so times a, so that's going to be 28, plus then n minus 1, and the difference is 1. Okay, so you have n over 2, 56, plus n minus 1. So again, n over 2, 55, plus n is equal to 600. So the 2 here, I'm going to bring this over here and multiply by 2 to get rid of the fraction. So now I'm left with n times 55 plus n equals 1200. Expand our brackets, we'll have 55n plus n squared equals 1200. Okay, let's bring that to the other side and let's rearrange it a bit. So we have n squared plus 55n minus 1200. So now we have a quadratic equation and it's pretty big, so it's going to be pretty tricky to factorize this. So we're going to use the quadratic formula. So again, this is in your logbooks if you can't remember it. So minus b, so that'll be minus 55 plus or minus, so b squared, so that'll be 55 squared minus 4a, so there's nothing with the n squared, so that's going to be 1. Then c is minus 1200. Make sure you put in the minus sign. Over 2a, so a is 1, so that'll just be 2 times 1. So we'll have minus 55 plus or minus. Now all of this will go into your calculator, and that'll be 5 root 313 all over 2. So that means we'll have minus 55 plus 5 root 313 over 2, and minus 55 minus 5 root 313 all over 2. So using our calculators for this, we'll get 16.7 and minus 71.7. Now remember what we're actually looking for. So we're looking for n, and n represents the row. So we can't have a negative row, so we're going to discard this. So it's 16.7 is one we're going to use. And I can't have 0.7 of a person. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 16 into the sum of formula. So I'll have 16 over 2, remember a, first term is 28. So 16 minus 1 times 1. So that will be 8, 56 plus 15. So 8, then that will be 71. And then 8 times 71, that will be 568. And then we were also told that there's 600 people in the show, and we have 568. So now we have to find the number of people seated in the next row. So you can see it's part of the question here. So to get that, I'm just going to do 600 minus 568, and that is going to be 32. So you have 32 people in the next row. So our value of n was 16.7, and then 32 people in the next row. So that part of that question, okay, very difficult. So in a question like this, you just need to make sure you're getting as many attempt marks as possible. Okay, part E then. For a particular show, adult tickets cost €25 each and children's tickets cost €12 each. Find the total income from ticket sales of 276 adult tickets and 212 children's tickets. So a lot easier here. So I have 276 adult tickets times 25 plus then 212 children's tickets times 12. So then just multiplying those, so you'll have 6,900 plus then 2,544, and that'll get us 9,444. F part 1 then, we're told for a different show, 752 tickets were sold. The ratio of adult tickets sold to children's tickets was 3:1, and we need to find how many adult tickets and how many children's tickets were sold for that show. Okay, so ratio and proportion question. So we have 752 as our total. Our ratio of adults to children is 3:1. So that would be like 3/4 adults, 1/4 of children. So just need to do 3/4 times 752 and 1/4 times 752. And then that'll get us 188 and 564. Okay, so last part then. So for the show referred to in F part 1, an adult ticket costs 2.5 times as much as a children's ticket. The income was 17,578, and we need to find the cost of a children's ticket for this show. Okay, so if an adult's ticket is 2.5 times, so what we're going to do is I'll call the children's ticket X. And the adult's one, if it's 2.5 times, 2.5x. And so we're going to use the answers we just got in F part 1. So the adult's tickets is 564, and the children's is 188. So for the children, we'll have 188 times x, plus now the adults, which is 564 times 2.5x, and this will equal 17,578. Okay, so let's work this out now. So 188x, so doing 564 times 2.5, that'll be 1,410x. Okay, so let's add those together. So 188x plus 1,410x. So that'll be 1,598x, equal then 17,578. So then always divide by number in front of x. So x equals 17,578 over 1,598. So then x is equal to 11. Okay, and that's €11. And there's our answer.